performance. So let's give them a hand again. When I think about what I see every day, especially as a columnist in this great city that I grew up in, a couple of things came to mind. One that just happened yesterday at Mayfair Mall. I think we've all been there. There was a huge fight outside Macy's involving a bunch of kids. And it was troubling to see, but it was so graphic that it just stood out. You have these young people fighting, and we don't know why. They're trying to find their place in life. They're out of control. You see this young man throwing punches at this young woman, and the first thing that comes to mind, or the first thing that came to my mind is, oh man, when Monday comes around, Channel 4 is going to call me, Channel 6, Channel 12, they're going to say, James, what's wrong with these kids? And we need you to respond to this. And as a black columnist, I constantly get those types of questions, and I'm trying to formulate those questions in my mind as to why certain things happen. And as a father, I have a 12-year-old daughter who means everything to me. I'm constantly going through this myself, trying to understand why some young people act the way they do. One story that came to mind that I worked on as a reporter that stood out to me the most is the story of Marcus Evans, a troubled 18-year-old young man who took the life of a Bayview High School student in 2010 or 2012, somewhere in there. Basically what happened is that throughout this kid's life, he had issues. When he was 5, he stabbed his teacher in the hand with a pencil. When he was 7 or 8, he got into other fights. I talked to his mother, and she told me, James, I go up to the school so many times that when I drop my kid off, before I can even get in the car and get halfway back home, they're calling me, said, come get your kid because he's out of control. And she tried to do everything right. She got him into mental health, and that didn't work. They basically told her, look, you got to be a better parent. She had a gun in her house. And she remembers that she had that gun in her house for protection because where they lived, it wasn't a safe neighborhood. And Marcus had to be the leader of this household. Oftentimes, young black men are forced to become men before they're even able to be young boys. The story goes like this. Real quick, before he did that, he shot his cousin in the back during a Christmas party a year before he killed this Bayview student. I called him a little monster in the paper, but when I think about it now, I was wrong for that. I think what it comes down to is some of our young people are so destroyed by PTSD, which exists in our community, so destroyed by everything that happens to them, the pressure that they're under, that it's like a tree. You have these roots at the surface that you could address, and we always talk about addressing the root causes, but we never address the roots that are down deep that make that tree really strong when heavy winds come through. Does that make sense? Anyway, Marcus was distraught this one day, and he took a gun, and he just picked out a young woman that he never met before, Bayview student, just walking. She got off the bus, and she's walking. Marcus pulls her to the side, takes her down the alley, and boom, boom, shoots her twice, kills her dead. We don't know why. When I covered the court case, I was thinking to myself, this is crazy. This is like the worst thing that I ever heard of before. But then in the 24 news cycle, we have another story, and then another story. What I'm here to tell you today is when people talk about root causes, don't just focus on the roots that you see at the top. Try to focus on the roots that are down deep, the things that we never really get to, the things that are really hard and difficult to talk about. Once we start addressing those root causes, I think we can solve a lot of our problems. And with that, I say thank you. And please read the newspaper. This is my little pub for the newspaper. Please read the newspaper. And thanks a lot.